Universities across Canada have started instituting vaccine mandates for both staff and students. I personally have heard from dozens of Canadians deeply concerned about these mandates and how it will affect their jobs and their studies. I think many have been waiting for the shoe to drop, and my next guest, Dr. Julie Ponesse, is proof that it already has. Dr. Ponesse, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm happy to have you back on. Since we last spoke, things have changed dramatically for you personally. Would you care to share with Canada what happened?
Sure. Well, I think that what's happened to me or in my corner of the world is something that's happening to a lot of Canadians, whether they're comfortable speaking out about it or not, but that doesn't diminish the reality. So I have been placed on temporary paid leave and strictly ordered not to step foot on campus or to attempt to teach my students. And so someone now has stepped in to take over what I was supposed to be teaching. And the pressure keeps coming from the administration at my school to submit to the vaccine mandates or face termination with cause.
And just to give our viewers context, you were a professor of ethics at Western University for 20 years, is that correct?
I haven't been at Western. This is a bit of a misnomer. I haven't been at Western all of that time. I've been teaching in some contexts. I've taught in some schools in the States and also at schools in Ontario as well. And I've been teaching at Huron, it's about 7 or 8 years now.
Okay, gotcha. So you're an ethics professor. And
so I teach ethics theory and applied ethics, including business ethics and some medical ethics, healthcare ethics context, and also ancient philosophy classes.
And when you received notice of this mandate, that there would be this mandate coming into university campuses, and I think you and I spoke around that time, that students, staff, you know, whether you're a custodian on campus or you're the security guard or you're a student or you're a professor, this is the mandate that you would have to receive the vaccination if you want to step foot on campus, or else please don't come.
Yeah, I mean, to be specific, what the mandate requires is providing proof of vaccination. So I think it's important to be clear about that, because what that does is it demands access to your private health information.
Right.
So what some people object to is not, that's a different issue, right? Whether you object to vaccination or you object to revealing your private health information, and then some people object. In my case, I actually object to both of those things. But one is a gateway to the other, right? So you need to reveal your personal medical information in order to prove that you have been vaccinated.
Right, right. And I've always found this very strange that in society we've kind of headed down this path where we're normalizing or making the Canadian population comfortable with revealing private medical information. And I know, again, this is unprecedented times with COVID and this virus and whatnot, but it seems like we're normalizing this, revealing this personal information, and I am uncomfortable with that normalization.
Yes, I think you're right. I think we're normalizing intrusions into privacy. And I use the word intrusion because if it's unwanted access, it's a kind of intrusion, right? So we're normalizing intrusions into privacy. We're normalizing the non-voluntary access to a person's body by demanding that they be vaccinated. And, having experienced what the dialogue is like between my employer and myself, there is no room for voluntary informed consent. It's very coercive. There's language of bullying. There's language of force. And we have normalized the absence of informed consent in Canada. And informed consent is something that's protected by, we have international, national documents, our Constitution, we have the Canadian Medical Association, the Canadian Medical Protective Association, all of these organizations and the documents that they have created and stand by very carefully guarantee fully informed voluntary consent.
But why is that important? Why is informed consent so important?
Informed consent is very important. I think it's deeply connected to who we are as Canadians in particular, because we have built our society on the idea that people from all walks of life, all religions, all political orientations can frame the kinds of lives they want for themselves here without intruding into other people's lives. There are important limits there. But as long as it's possible to make the kind of life we want for ourselves. And a core aspect of that is making decisions about what happens to our bodies. And this is the cornerstone of the abortion debate, the end of life debate. When you start talking about, medicines and access to certain kinds of food products, the dialogue for decades has been how to make people fully informed so that they can make their own choices.